Hello, everyone. It's Janelle Stewart here from Parents Making an Investment. And just want to talk with you today on the topic of family values. Do you remember as a child and in your childhood, rather, things that were important to you? Just the time that you spent with your family. If you could trace back to those things that you did together as a family that was valuable to you and very memorable to you and very important to you. And now look at you being an adult now and having your own family. Do you still do some of those things? If so, that's because they were valuable to you and they were important to you as a child. And you felt like this is something I wanted to continue with my family. I want to teach my children and the importance of continuing this so that way you are consistent. And usually that's where family values derive from, right? And so therefore, there are things that also that you remember from your childhood that you might not even do. And you probably say, and you have vowed to yourself that, oh, I'm not going to do that with my kids because you did not see the importance in it. You didn't see the value of carrying that on. And my question today, in what you do now in your family, your immediate family, do your children see the importance in it? Do they see the value in it? Do you think this is something that they will and want to carry on into their immediate family, into their new family when they get older? See, we do these things because, and we do, that it's natural for us to pass on that kind of family value baton to our children. And we do it because it worked, it's important, it was valuable to us. And in a sense, if we could draw back and remember that there were some things our parents passed on to us too, our family did, but we didn't deem it as valuable and important. Well, believe it or not, there might be some things that we're doing as parents that our children are not going to deem as valuable. They won't even see it as a family value, and so they will not pass it on. So my question today is, what is it that you want your children to see as a family value? What is it that you want them to see as important? And how are we then finding a way in such a way and that they will pass it on to their kids and they will see it as important? What are you doing? What are you doing with your child to bring them to this awareness? And that is what I'm talking about today. So I'm going to share what I've done. And the first thing I've done, one, is awareness. Bring your kids to the awareness of what they do and what we do as a family. See, sometimes we just get so busy in life, and even with our kids, that life has become routine. Coming home, doing homework, unpacking, getting a snack, sit in front, especially on a Friday, sit in front of the TV, doing homework, getting dinner ready, taking your kids off to this sport, etc., etc. So life has become a routine, and it has become a routine for them that sometimes these important things that we want them to see as important, they get kind of lost in the busyness of life. So one is bring your children to that awareness. And how do you do that? This is what I did. I asked my kids, what is important to you? I asked them, I said, what is important to you? What do you see that we do as a family that's important to you and that's consistent and you like that and it means something to you? And guess what? Because I have 3 kids living with us now, they each shared what was important to each and every one of them. Was it different? Yes, it was all different because everyone has a different love language. Everyone is fed differently. And so, therefore, the answers are different. And some of the things that they say, yes, I can remember. We do this. We do it. We might not do it consistently, but we do it. But I now know that that is what's important to that child. This is important to that child. This is important to the other child. The next step is, how do you then continue to make sure that, because it's important to them, how do then we make sure that this become a value to them, a family value? Second thing is consistency. Try your best. Try our best as parents and supporting adults to be consistent with it. If it's important and it's a value to your child, try to be consistent with it. And consistency doesn't mean, doing it every day. Consistency is being consistent, whether it's something that you do once a month, whether it's something you do every week, whether it's something that you do only through the holidays. For me, what I find, and I shared, because we also didn't just ask our children and left it in the air like that in the cloud. We also responded as parents. My husband and I share what's important to us and what is that's a value to us. So what I shared as a value to me doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every month. It actually happens the day after Thanksgiving. And so even though it doesn't happen every day, every month, but what we try to do is be consistent when it comes around to that time of the year. And so that's the number 2, consistency. Whatever it is, how often you do it, be consistent with what you do. And so in the end, they will see the importance. They will see the value of doing it. And also sharing that it's important, what's important to you as a parent is of value because you're part of that family. You're part of that fabric. And so they need to also know that you value something in the family, just like you want them to see that what they deem as important, you value well as a parent. And so sharing and taking that time to just stop, whether doing it as a dinner table discussion, whether doing it as a round table, whether doing it as a devotion time, and you just talk about it, whichever way you do with your family and you spend time to talk about these things, bring that up, family value. And then how will you pass that on to your children? And it's simply by doing that. It's by being consistent with it, and also finding out what is of value to them. And by doing that throughout their life, throughout your family time, and as they grow up and holding on to these things. And yes, they will start seeing time with their friends as being valuable too and as important. But if you're just consistent with this, they will not talk about it so much. They will not see the value in it now. But as you and I can remember from our childhood, those things that we deemed as important, and we've brought it into our adulthood, and we brought it into our family life, and we're now living that out, and it has become our family values. They will in turn remember these things, and they will in turn remember it as they grow into their adulthood. And they will see these things as important enough to pass it on, important enough to consider it as a family value and something that they want to continue to do. And whether they do it traditionally or what have you, but it started from my family, your family, our kids seeing it as important and of value. And that's where family value comes from. And I hope this insight helps you today. So whatever you deem as important and valuable, and whatever your child deem as important and valuable today, that you and I will take time to make sure that we are consistent with just those little things so they can pass it on. Thank you, and be blessed.